Hello friends, welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator and another tutorial video. It's been a while since I recorded and published a tutorial or video. Life has a tendency to get in the way and I have been very busy at work and wanted to enjoy the holidays with my family as well, so that's why you didn't see any video coming from me. I apologize. I know some of you are waiting for new videos, so this is one of them and I was able to record this. What we are going to do today is we are going to look at the fly-by-wire A320 and cold and dark startup, and we are also going to look at the new tiller that separates the rudder from the rudder pedals and gives you control to turn the aircraft during taxi using the tiller. So we will look into how to set your controller up and test it and do a quick cold and dark startup, which was requested, to go through that one more time with the recent updates to the fly-by-wire A320. So we are currently at Oslo in Norway. This is a freeware airport, beautifully done. You can find this in flightsim.to. That's where I downloaded this from, and the author of this this beautiful airport, I'm just looking through my notes to see if I have that. Yeah, Hergi1234 published this and updated, and I think it's a beautiful airport. As you see over here, I see some texture glitches, but overall it's fantastic. So if you want to grab it for yourself, you can search for Echo November Golf Mike Oslo Gardermoen Airport in flightsim.to, and you'll be able to find this. It's snowy. I don't know if I like the snow textures, because it looks like someone did a very nice cleaning job with sharp edges. So that's, I believe, Microsoft, or I don't know if the airport scenery has anything to do with this, because some areas are marked as whatever with new textures. So anyway, let's get back to the subject. Let's jump into the cockpit, and the sounds you are hearing is from AIG AI traffic. As you see, there's a flyer aircraft taxiing. There are a couple Norwegian aircraft. There's an SAS back there that I see, a KLM over here. So this is injected by AIG AI traffic. Alright, and this is the other thing. I'm not sure if it's true to life. Look at those windows, they are all iced up, and I know some of the channel members or channel subscribers were also complaining about this in our Discord channel, more specifically Modo45, and he told me about this too, and it's pretty much in each and every aircraft. And I don't know if this is true in real life, because I'm not a real life pilot, but it looks a little bit excessive to me. Anyway, so cockpit is cold and dark. Let's turn on the tablet first and let's go through the tiller settings, and then we will do the cold and dark startup, take a look at the taxiing with the new tiller added by the fly-by-wire team. So first things first, we'll go to the controls options and we'll find our controller that we want to assign the tiller axis. So if you have a free axis, I highly recommend to use it. My joystick has this twist action, which I'm not using for anything because I have rudder pedals, so that's what I use to assign. And because there is no tiller axis under the controls menu in Microsoft Flight Simulator, maybe Microsoft will add it after the update to the fly-by-wire mod, the team assigned it to an axis that's not used for Airbus A320. So, and I don't use that axis, so I'm completely fine. But if you want to have a specific control for Airbus. So this is GA aircraft, my GA aircraft profile for this side stick. You go to preset manager and duplicate your profile and name it sort of A320 side stick. That's at least what I'm naming mine, so you can choose whatever you want that makes sense to you. And the control we are looking is, let's just change this to all. We are looking for mixture control or mixture axis -100 to 100. That's what they used to assign the tiller axis, because it's not used in Airbus. So I already did the assignment, but let's do it again. Let me clear this and validate. This guy starts scanning and I'm gonna twist my joystick. There we go. And validate. You need to uncheck the reverse because it's acting the opposite. If this is checked, when you try to turn left with the joystick, the aircraft turns to right. So you have to uncheck the reverse axis and apply and save. The other one, I'm not sure if this is functional yet. I don't think it is, but you can try the the rudder disconnect switch, which I will show you in the cockpit here in a little bit. And same thing here, fly-by-wire used a control mapping that's not used with the Airbus, and that control is water rudder, toggle water rudder. This is what you need to search, and it's assigned to my button 12 of my joystick. I'm gonna try to see if this has any effect, but that's what you use. But this might be for people who doesn't have rudder pedals, so that I'm not sure because I haven't read through the changelog and the instructions on their website. You can go and check their instructions if you want to. They have a detailed explanation of the tiller. Anyway, so that's the control assignments, and let's go back. And you have one more setting that you need to change in the tablet under the settings menu, realism. This last one, separate tiller from rudder inputs. You have to, it is disabled by default, you have to enable this. When you do this, you perfectly separated your rudder pedals from the tiller, which is this guy over here, and that button is the pedal disconnect, which disconnects the rudder. So I'm assuming this is for people who are using the same axis for rudder pedals and they don't have rudder pedals. You can use that button to disconnect your rudders so that they don't move when you are trying to turn the aircraft. And as you see, I'm twisting my joystick and it's moving, and I'm not touching my rudder pedals. If I do, you'll see them moving like so. So they are separated now. So with this new setup, your rudder pedals will still help you to turn, but it will only help you up to 6 degrees. On the other hand, the tiller will turn the aircraft's nose wheel up to 75 degrees. So that's what you use in real life to taxi to the runway at the airport. And then when you are taking off, the tiller becomes inactive or it's disconnected, and then you use your rudder pedals to center the aircraft on the runway and keep it centered. Anyway, that's the settings, and let's go through the cold and dark startup and do it quickly, not properly or close to real life, but you know, at least enough to get her up in the air. First things first, overhead panel, and let me just darken the cockpit. This was also a request from a channel subscriber, Rani from Australia. He requested me to show where the light switches are when it's dark outside. It's actually not dark here because the airport is quite bright, but this should also serve for that purpose too. So battery master switches are to on. And what I like to do here is I like to change the brightnesses if I don't have the flashlight or if it's dark outside, so that this is the overhead brightness, overhead panel, integral lighting brightness. That's that one. And down below you have this guy, which is the floodlights and integral lighting of the pedestal. So I turn these brightnesses on when I have my flashlight operational, even before turning the batteries to on. And the other thing you can do is, let me get closer to the overhead, there is a dome light switch that you can turn the dome light on, and it will provide some lighting. It's this guy here under interior lighting, dome light. If you turn this on, that will give you the enough light when you switch the batteries to on. This will not turn on when the batteries are off. Oh, it will turn on. Okay, so you can use this too. So if we come back and say we are dark and it's night time, that's the switch right there. Turn it on. Now you have the dome light to work your way and turn the aircraft on. Battery power, external power. Now the overhead integral lighting is in effect, and our pedestal is lit too. While we are here, crew oxygen supply goes to on. Nav lights, we have to turn them on as well, so that the ground crew knows that aircraft has power. We arm the emergency exit lights and we turn the passenger signs to on. So this is the overhead for now. Down below, we set some screen brightness and increase those for ND and PFD displays, as well as Copilot displays, and also for the eCam displays, which are just here. So those brightnesses are now set, and we are going back to overhead and turning the ADIR switches to nav so that our GPS or ADIRs can start aligning. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep the dome light on. It's bright enough now, so we will keep it like this. And what else? Oh yeah, because now we are going to get flight ready, we can lock the cockpit door, which is now locked, and we can jump down to the FMC or MAC2 in this case, with the Airbus terminology, to start programming our flight plan. First things first, we go to the init page and we will request init. I created a flight plan in SimBrief. That's what I am using, and I'm importing from SimBrief. If you want to enter it manually, I have a tutorial for that, which you can find under the Microsoft Flight Simulator tutorials category under videos. So we are going to Frankfurt. I don't know if this is a real world route. This was like a quick flight plan that I set up in SimBrief. So init is done. Now we need to go and find the performance. Oh, not performance. Go to ATSU. By the way, let me just slow down a little bit. MCDU menu, ATSU, AOC, weight and balances, and we will send a request and we will start the boarding. Let's go back and hold on. Let's go to the second page, not go back. Actually, second page is not necessary because the fuel is also loaded while we are boarding the passengers. So we have to wait for this to finish, and then we will keep going with the flight planning. Let me stop the video here and I'll bring you guys back when boarding is complete. See you in a little bit. Welcome back, friends. Our boarding is now complete and we are ready to move on. So let's just get to it without wasting too much time. So as you see, boarding is complete. We go back to the init page and we scroll to the second page, and now we can fill in our zero fuel weight because all the passengers are on board, and we can do our fuel planning and confirm our block fuel. Without boarding complete, your zero fuel weight will be off, so you have to wait for the boarding to be complete before you can fill in this page. Also, in the meantime, we had our GPS aligned, and I forgot to tell you two more brightness buttons, one over here One controls the MCP integral lighting, and this one controls the display brightness, and these other two on the corners controls the brightnesses of, I believe, pilot and co-pilot side lights. If I am not mistaken, they are controlling the, yeah, they are controlling those brightnesses. I didn't use them too much, so if I'm wrong, I apologize. But anyway, so now boarding is complete. Our MCDU is waiting for us to get back to our flight plan, and we are going to select our departure and arrival and clean up the discontinuities. And unfortunately, why I'm not seeing a interesting. I'm gonna check my Simbury flight plan very quickly and see the flight briefing. So our route, yeah, our route is not here. Interesting. Well, let's go back to the init page. Let's clean this up, and this is how you do your init one more time. So let's enter a different route, random, Echo Bravo Bravo Romeo / Echo Golf Lima Lima, and this should clean up the flight plan and bring us the init request again, and hopefully this time it will link our flight plan, or if not, it's bugged. That means because in between boarding and cutting the video, I had to restart because my units were not metric units for fuel and other stuff, so I had to restart the flight, and that might be the reason why we don't see a flight plan. Anyway, so with this you get the chance to see how we can enter it manually. So our first waypoint is VIPA. Let's plug that in. That is very interesting. Let's try one more time. It is not taking it. I'm not sure. Let's select our departure and see if it makes any difference. So our departure is from runway 1 left, 01 left, and it's not reading any SIDs. This might be a navigational data problem, I'm guessing. Oh, nope, there is nothing I can do here, and it's not letting me to enter the flight plan, so we'll skip this part and assume that we have our flight plan entered, and we will base it off of that. You have seen, and there is no changes, so you can go and watch the other video I have. I'm not gonna try to start the sim, it's already too late. But we'll assume that our flight plan is in place, and we'll go down and calculate our performance. To calculate the performance, you need to enter your flap setting, flaps 1, and the THS I believe is still not doing anything, but I usually put up 0.0. Flex temp, we will not bother with that, but if you want, you can just randomly assign, because there is no known calculator at the moment that we can use. There used to be one, but I'm not sure if it's accurate for this aircraft, because it wasn't for Airbus A320neo. So after entering those, we will select our V-speeds one by one, and that's our performance done. So from here, what we are going to do is we are going to start the APU, and the flap will open, and I'm gonna check one more thing, because let's see here. Yeah, there is no setting. Yep, that's it. So we'll stay at here. I'm not sure why this is not displayed. That's a little bit interesting to me if you ask. And Can we use the secondary? Or can we just... no, nothing is active here. We can only copy the active or swap the active, and which will not do anything. That's a little bit unfortunate, and I'm trying to find the solution to see if we can just solve this together and learn together. Flight number is also wrong, so that tells me something. That means it's not bringing the flight plan from SimBrief, and not sure. Anyway, let's not worry about this. Okay, so the APU is now available. We'll turn the APU bleed to on, and before you start the APU, you can do a quick fire test. There's a little button here that will allow you to press and hear the bell, and you'll do the same thing for the engines to make sure fire systems are operational. We'll turn the fuel pumps to on, and now we have APU available. We don't need the external power, so we can turn it off. And for some reason I'm hearing the PTU. Oh, these are the dynamic PTU sounds that they added. Even if the engines are not running because we are on APU power, the PTU is making some noises. But we are ready to start our engines. Before doing so, let's call the pushback tag, and I am using Ambitious Pilot's toolbar pushback.
Cockpit to ground.
This is ground. Stand by.
Yeah, ground is now connecting the tag. We can just check. And look at that icing. I don't like this. This is not looking like it's real. And unless they are going to add some de-icing to the ground services, they should fix this icing problem ASAP, hopefully with the January 9 update, which they said will be focused on bug fixes. Alright, the tag is now connected.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed, and all ground equipment is removed.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
He is gonna lift the nose.
Set. Lifting the aircraft.
You will see it moving just a little bit. I don't know if it's too much or if it's realistic.
Standing by for pushback.
Alright, so now pushback is ready. We'll stay in this view, and we'll probably push the tail to the right to give us more room to test the tiller. Or maybe to the left, I'm sorry. Yeah, let's push the tail to the left. And let's not worry about the direction or where the runway is at this point. So we'll go into the cockpit, and we will turn off our parking brake, and we will start the pushback.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead.
We are cleared for start and push.
Okay, cleared for push start.
Alright, push and
Parking
start
brakes
is
are
cleared.
released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engine
Pushback is
sequence.
starting. One
It will
must
start in
check.
sequence.
We'll turn the beacon light to on now, because we are about to start the engines, and we'll go down. Ignition selector switch, and there's something really wrong. And we'll start with right engine. These sounds are not normal. There is something that's bugged, guys, but well, we'll pretend like it is now doing what it is supposed to be doing. Is this reversed or something? I'm cycling the switches, and they are looks like they are working when they are at the down position. Anyway, that's a little bit bizarre to me. Okay, now let's try this one more time. Okay, it's now working. Let's go to the left and take a look where we are at. Okay, we are turning just about at the right time. And that was my controller button that was stuck. That's why it wasn't doing what it was supposed to be doing. So there is nothing wrong with the aircraft, just to clarify. Alright. We are almost straight, so let's hold here, set the parking brake, and stop the pushback.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
Parking brake set.
Parking brake set. Lowering aircraft.
Ground. You may disconnect.
Okay, sir. Clear to disconnect. Pin has been removed. See you at the side. Have a good flight.
Holding
Alright,
position waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
right engine is now running. And let's start the left, and I want to tell something. Because we started the right engine, we have pressure on the yellow hydraulic pump. If you start the left engine first and then the right, you will not have yellow pressure, yellow pump working. What I'm trying to say is sometimes airlines in real life wants the pilots to taxi with single engine. So in that case, you start engine number 1 and this one will be turned off. So to turn the yellow pump on, you have to come to the overhead, otherwise you won't be able to operate the tiller. You have to turn this engine electrical pump on, and that will supply pressure to the yellow hydraulic pump. Alright, let's start the other engine and let's keep going. As you see, we have pressure on the hydraulic systems now. Left engine is spooling, and in the meantime, because we have hydraulic power, we definitely are going to turn the probe heat, window heat, and engine wing anti-ice because of this nasty icing. We'll turn the taxi lights to, or nose light to taxi, runway turn off lights to on if we want to. This is optional. And we can keep the wing light on because icing conditions are present, looks like. And we'll chime the cabin to let them know that we are about to start our taxi as soon as we have the engine running. Also, what we can do is we can set our flaps to flaps 1 because now we have hydraulic power, they should work. That's flaps 1, and oh, look at that.
Please prepare for takeoff.
Oh, not takeoff, what's happening? Okay. Weird things are happening today, sorry about that. Speed brakes are going to get armed right now. And we'll turn the TCAS system to standby and we'll plug in our transponder code. We should have done this before taxi. And we'll keep it at TARA. And we'll turn the altitude reporting on prior to takeoff. Alright, looks like both engines are running, which means we don't need the APU anymore, so we can turn it off. And we can test the tiller. So let's do a quick test while we are sitting here. Go outside and set a view. Now I am using my rudder pedals, and as you see the tiller is a little bit turning, or the nose wheel is turning. If I press the nose wheel disconnect button now, it should technically disconnect the nose wheel, which it's not doing it. Or maybe that's the expected behavior, I'm not sure if that button is working or not. Looks like it is not, so let's keep going. If I twist my joystick though, you see it's turning a lot more than it was turning with the rudders. So when you are using this, you have to watch your speed on the ground because this is speed dependent and the angle will be decreased as you speed up. Alright, let's just try to taxi now and see how it looks like. Parking brake is now off, and we'll just add a little bit of power. And also you have to make sure the This switch is in the up position, which is the anti-skid and nose wheel steering switch. Disconnect switch that needs to be in the up position. Let's get on the taxiway. Auto brakes to max, and we have to test the TO config and make sure the TO config is approved. Predictive wind shear, we'll turn it to on, and we'll put the weather radar on the pilot side. So now we are moving, and I will use my joystick twist to control the nose wheel, and if we look down you'll see the tiller moving left and right, and maybe I should brighten the cockpit now for you guys to see a little bit better, like that, and we will get back on the taxiway. And it's hard to get used to this thing. So as you see, it's moving down there, and it is not, as I said, speed dependent. We have to keep the speed low to be able to operate this properly, and my windows are looking very nasty, very nasty right now. It requires some practice and getting used to be honest, but when you do, I think it is going to be better than using your rudder pedals, and you still have the option to go back to what it was if you want to experience that. And these little movements, you can still use your rudder pedals to make small movements, but cornering, you can use the tiller. Sorry about that stutter, but this is how you use it, and you have to be gentle. It is very sensitive, and maybe just set some sensitivity curve to the axis so that you are not turning as quickly as you move the joystick or whatever you are using for this. So turns around 10 knots on the ground, I believe, is what Airbus recommends, so we will use that. And it doesn't act as quickly as rudder pedals, so just be mindful to start your turn early, otherwise you will be like looking to get the aircraft in a place where it shouldn't be. After getting used to, I think this is going to look great, but because of the motion and the hydraulic system, it is not instant when you turn or twist the joystick. It takes some time for the aircraft to start turning, so plan and make sure you are using this appropriately, and do practice on the ground a little bit. This icing is bad, and looks like my window anti-ice is not working. Not sure why, because it's turned on, or maybe it's taking too much time, I'm not sure. Approaching the turn, let's slow the aircraft down, and then let's start turning our tiller so that the aircraft responds on time. And as I said, you need to practice this a little bit on the ground, like driving a car, and then you should be fine. Let the steering go and turn it the other way. See, I'm still learning, so I'm not saying I'm perfect, because it requires decent amount of practice, guys. You have to learn where to let it go, where to center it, and where to turn. And without practice, you will still see and experience what you are seeing on the screen right now with me. And I'm probably going to set some sensitivity curves to make sure it's not turning as quickly or reacting a little bit smoother. But aside from that, I think this is going to look great, and we will get used to this. Anyway, so let me stop here. That's what I wanted to cover in this tutorial. And look at that, like we are terribly iced. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give the video a like and help this video to reach to other flight simmers. And if you are not a channel subscriber that stumbled upon this video, If you want to get notified for the future videos, please consider subscribing and turning the notifications on. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video.